This story is about how people survived on a road to Siberia, a place where frost, blizzards, and the endless taiga tested every person's strength. Imagine snow up to your knees, icy wind cutting across your face, and ahead, miles of the unknown. No villages, no stores, no people, only nature and human resilience. Every step is a trial, every breath, a fight for life. Survival depended not on strength, but on attentiveness and experience. People observed the clouds, the wind, and the behavior of animals. They listened to the rustle of branches underfoot, the sounds of the forest. Any subtle change in nature could be a sign of danger or a clue for the correct path. Even the smallest mistake could be fatal. Freezing to the bone was easier than it seems. The main weapon against the cold was clothing. Layered outfits, fur inside, thick hides outside, dry grass and moss in boots. Every detail could save a life. The inner layer retained warmth and absorbed moisture, preventing the body from cooling. The outer layer protected against icy winds and snow. Mittens and boots were carefully prepared. Fingers, feet, and hands, the most vulnerable parts of the body, were especially protected. Even a minor error could lead to frostbite, often fatal in these conditions. Food played a critical role. Travelers carried high-fat, high-protein foods, meat, fish, fat. Each portion was calculated for a day or two and rationed carefully because the next source of nourishment was uncertain. Fat kept the body warm from within and provided energy to move through the snow. People understood that survival was a balance between energy expenditure and replenishment. Orientation was crucial. A river could be both a road and a deadly trap. The forest, a shelter, but also a place to get lost. Animal tracks, bird behavior, cloud movement, and wind direction all helped determine the path. Those who ignored these clues often didn't return. Overnight stops were the most dangerous moments. Darkness fell quickly, frost stiffened the air, and the body began losing heat rapidly. People built temporary shelters from snow, branches, and bark, dug small pits, and covered them with animal furs. Even a simple windbreak could save a life. Mistakes in building a shelter were costly. Freezing could set in immediately. Movement helped fight the cold. Even during short breaks, people stayed active, walking in circles, lightly stretching hands and legs, taking deep breaths. Stopping meant giving the frost a chance to attack. But clothing and food were not the most important. The key was patience and the ability to remain calm. Panic kills faster than cold. Those who survived knew that every step, every movement, and every breath required attention, focus, and mental strength. Solitude intensified the tension. Many travelers went weeks without seeing anyone. The hardest part was not physical, but psychological: fear, cold, and uncertainty. The ability to maintain inner order, calm, and clarity of thought became key to survival. Siberia shaped people to be patient, quiet, and observant. It taught them to value warmth, movement, food, and shelter. Every step through the taiga was a lesson, every night a trial. And it was these trials that made a person strong, vigilant, and wise. Ultimately, the journey through Siberia became a real school of life. Every step taught one to value warmth, every breath, life, and every night a lesson. Survival favored not the strongest, but those who respected nature, understood its laws, and could live by them. The journey through Siberia did not end with the first snowfall or the onset of darkness. On the contrary, every new day brought new challenges, and the ability to adapt became the key to survival. After learning to observe nature, master clothing, and ration food, the next step was to understand how to use the surrounding world for survival. In Siberia, any place could be both a danger and a refuge. Birches, firs, and pines provided wood for shelters and fires. But one misstep, and the dense forest became traps, hiding dangerous animals and deceiving the eye. Travelers realized that every detail in the environment mattered. How snow falls, where rivers flow, which tracks animals left behind. These clues helped them survive, but constantly reminded them of mortal danger. Hunting and fishing were essential skills. Without them, energy and strength quickly dwindled. Ice fishing in winter was an art. Cutting holes in ice, setting traps, and choosing spots where fish moved actively. Every day demanded concentration, patience, and precision. Mistakes were costly. An empty catch meant hunger, and in the cold, hunger equaled death. Hunting also posed challenges. Animals learned to avoid humans, observing every step. Travelers used tracks, sounds, and animal behavior to predict movement. Snow conditions added difficulty. Snow muffled sounds but also hid tracks. One had to distinguish subtle changes, identify fresh and old tracks, and account for wind direction and scent. Night brought heightened danger. The freezing air lowered body temperature, and darkness concealed threats. People built more complex shelters, snow pits with inner chambers, structures of branches and bark insulated with animal furs. Sometimes small fires and signals were used for orientation, to avoid getting lost and maintain hope. Moving through the forest became almost a dance with nature. Every step required attention. Snow could hide cracks, ice could be treacherous, and every path could lead to a new danger. People learned to read small details, wind direction, sun position, smells, and sounds. This constant analysis helped them survive and shape patience and attentiveness. Over time, one realized that survival in Siberia was not just a battle with cold, but a test of character. Each day spent in the taiga taught calmness, risk assessment, and decision-making. Panic or overconfidence could be fatal. Siberia tested the mind, not strength. People learned to value simple things: the warmth of a fire, a dry fur, the ability to take a small step forward. Every movement was earned, every success, a small victory against the elements. Those who survived understood that true strength lay in observation, adaptation, and using nature's resources wisely. Siberia shaped true survival masters. It taught that strength is not in muscles, but in attentiveness, patience, and ingenuity. Each day on the journey was a lesson, every night a trial. Survival favored those who understood nature's laws, respected them, and could harness them. The stories of these people are more than tales of cold and danger. They are lessons in courage, patience, and wisdom. Siberia creates people capable of facing the harshest conditions, valuing life and respecting nature. Every step, every breath, every action is part of a great path that shapes character and inner strength. And it was these trials that forged true masters of survival, capable of navigating the taiga, finding food and shelter, keeping a clear mind and holding on to hope. Siberia does not forgive weakness, but it rewards those willing to learn, observe, and respect its laws. The road in Siberia rarely killed instantly. More often, it broke people slowly. Day after day, step by step, cold, exhaustion, and isolation gradually erased confidence. At this stage, it became clear survival favored not the strongest, but the most patient. After weeks on the road, the body began to fail. Joints ached, breathing grew heavy, sleep became shallow and restless. But the greatest danger lived in the mind. Thoughts became confused. The road seemed endless. Many made fatal mistakes here. They rushed, moved faster than necessary, wasted their remaining strength. Experienced travelers knew, in Siberia, Haste is deadly. It was better to move slowly but steadily. Better take fewer steps and preserve warmth and clarity. They listened carefully to their bodies. Cold hands meant movement. Overwhelming fatigue meant a short rest, never too long. The balance between motion and rest decided everything. Loneliness played a special role. On the road, a person was left alone with themselves. The silence of the taiga pressed harder than the cold. No conversation, no distraction, only the crunch of snow, the wind, and one's own breath. Many spoke out loud, not from madness, but to maintain a sense of control and presence. Nature became a strict teacher. It neither helped nor hindered. It simply existed. Mistakes were punished. Correct actions were quietly rewarded with another day of life. People learned to accept this, not to fight Siberia, but to exist within it. Blizzards were especially dangerous. On those days, the road disappeared completely. Sky and ground merged into one. Direction was lost. Experienced travelers did not move forward. They stopped. They built shelter and waited, sometimes for a day, sometimes longer. Patience saved lives. Food ran out quickly. Energy had to be conserved. Movement slowed. Every piece of food was used carefully. Even a warm drink or a small piece of fat could restore clarity and the will to continue. Over time, people changed. They stopped fearing silence, stopped complaining. They accepted the cold as part of the path. Siberia broke pride, but in return gave endurance and inner calm. Those who passed this stage were no longer the same. They learned to listen to their bodies, trust instincts, respect the road. From that moment on, a person was no longer a guest. They became part of Siberia. And this was where true survival began. Not a battle, not heroism, just quiet, attentive movement forward, step by step, without excess words or false hope.